Hey there folks, how you doing today? Hope all is well with you. I was digging through some boxes out in the barn the other day and I came across this, and after a few dollars spent and a little bit of elbow grease, I had it looking really nice. I'll do a close-up explanation of it here in just a minute, but I got that put together and I figured that there are some of you out there that prefer watching the content that's not gun related, and so limited choices here, folks. You got another flashlight video, whether you wanted it or not. So stick around. I'll try to keep this pretty short, and hopefully somebody will enjoy it. All right. So without wasting a whole lot of time with the introduction here, this is a Streamlight Stinger XT flashlight, and if you look at this one, you'll see that it looks like it is in pretty good shape. It works, albeit you're operating with 20-year-old Xenon technology here. But this particular flashlight has an interesting story. I received this as an award when I graduated from Law Enforcement Academy many years ago. Because the agency that I work for does not have a sense of humor, I have covered the name of the agency, but you can see that it was nicely engraved there and presented to me upon completion of the academy. Well, this particular flashlight, because of the sentimental value to it, I never carried it. I never used it at work. And as a matter of fact, I had stored it. Show you here. I had stored it without a power cell so that the battery wouldn't rupture and ruin the insides of it, because I intended on keeping it for a long time and maybe eventually passing it on to one of my children. Well, if living in Southeast Texas has taught me anything over the years, it is that the environment here is very harsh. As you can see from these pictures, this rubber grip panel had rotted and molded, as well as the button over the tail switch had gone bad. And all that occurred because I had the flashlight stored inside of a cardboard box out in the barn, and the box just absorbed the moisture from the humid environment here, and it caused bacterial growth on the rubber surfaces. So I ordered all new parts to fix it off of Streamlight's Amazon store. I thought I would be clever and change out the existing Xenon mechanism for one of the modern C4 LED upgrade kits. I purchased that. You can see the two here compared together. And the issue that I ran into is the inside of the head of this flashlight is milled differently than a C4 flashlight, and it just would not work. So I had to stick with the old-fashioned Xenon bulb. Here, I'll open that up so you can have a look and see what that's all about. It's the old-fashioned bezel. You can see the lens is in very good shape. This was never carried, never used, and it was kept in an original box. It just unfortunately gathered some moisture. But you can see here that little bulb right there is the light source for this flashlight. Now this one did not have a lumen rating. I would say the lumens are very low. It does produce a nice incandescent light for those of us old enough to appreciate what incandescent light was like. Well, the factory Streamlight C4 LED upgrade kit would not work for the head of this flashlight. There is a company that has been making an LED upgrade for these for many years. Several of the officers that I had worked with in the past had purchased those kits from Terralux and were reasonably pleased with them. Now, they did have kind of a goofy little hexagonal or octagonal rubber cap that went over the end of it, but you could take that off, and they seemed like they worked pretty well. And while not quite up to the technology of today's standards, I think they were and probably still are the best alternative for a flashlight like this. So while I have it in good working order, and it seems like the nostalgic part of me wants to leave it like this, I can't help but remember how hot the lens of these flashlights would get if you inadvertently turned them on and stuck them back on your belt, and how quickly the batteries degrade. I know that the factory battery cell with the Xenon bulb would last me about 2 shifts many years ago. When I finally switched to an LED version of this same flashlight, I could get through all week on the same battery charge. So it was a significant improvement with the LED. And as I recall, the Terralux kit also provided a significant improvement. But I've got it all nice and shined up and put together, and a couple of kids already are fighting over it, so I'm going to hold on to it for a while, and we'll see which one of them lives to be an adult. And to the victor will go the spoils. So I don't know about you, but I've kind of got a soft spot for nostalgic things like this old flashlight. And I was really happy to get it looking as good as it does. Now, a tech tip, if you have one of these and you're planning on replacing this rubber sleeve, you got to lube it up. You got to put a little Dawn dish soap on the inside of it, get the flashlight damp, you know, run a little water in your hand and get it nice and damp, and twist and pull and you can get it on there, but it's not pretty. Other than that, the parts were straightforward. Changing the button out was really easy, and it works extremely well now. So that's all I had for today. Next time you see this, it'll probably have one of those Terralux LEDs installed on the head of it. So until next time, take care. God bless.